Okay, introducing my next featured guest on my show and podcasts now. We have a musical artist who's no stranger to my show. Always a pleasure to have on. Welcome back, Rachael Sage.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm doing so well. This is radio day. chatting with a lot of presenters and just getting really excited for my return tour to the UK in September with the great Will Young.
Oh, yeah, Will Young. Good old Will Young. We'll come on to that. And as always, you're one of the hardest working women in this industry.
Um, well, I'm very
Um,
fortunate to do what I love, so it
hmm.
doesn't feel that way, but I appreciate that.
That's good. And people in my previous interviews have got to know you. Um, and I just wanted to ask for the benefit of those who haven't listened to my interviews with you, how long have you been like a recording artist for, and so on?
A long time. I started doing this in my teens. I was recording on a 4 track and then I put out my album just after college. So it's been a while. I'm not going to say how long exactly, but as you know, I've made over a dozen albums now and I just love it. I keep writing songs. I can't help it. It's how I perceive the world and self express, and hopefully also uplift other people if they can recognize their experience in what I'm singing. So I'll keep at it
Yeah,
as
very
long as
nice.
they let me.
Yeah, very nice. And it's more than fair to say you have had or still have an extensive CV.
Well, I suppose, I've been very fortunate to tour in the UK with some amazing artists, including Howard Jones, Imelda May, Lulu, Judy Collins, and now Will Young. So it's been quite a variety, and I always learn something from all of these, extremely accomplished career artists. And it's an exchange. I also consider the audiences to be like another member of the band, and every show is its own adventure. I'm very interactive with the audience, and I ask the lighting person to keep a little bit of the light on so that I can see them as well. So yeah, a little bit of cabaret in the folk and pop. Mhm.
That's good. And someone once said, I'm not sure who, but in the music world or music business, music industry, you never stop learning. Is that a fair analogy, would you say?
Oh, I sure hope so. I mean, that's part of what makes it so interesting and exciting. And I play with different musicians along the tour. This one, I'll be bringing my wonderful violinist, Kelly Halloran. And then I'll also be connecting with Will Wild, who's a phenomenal blues harmonica player. And also doing a handful of headline shows on what would be the off days, but I'm allergic to off days. So I fill them in. And I think we'll be in London and Hull and a few other places where I'll get to stretch out and play, for 1.5, 2 hours. So that's exciting as well.
Right. I wanted to ask you, you probably have, but have you ever toured in Ireland before?
Oh, yeah. I love Ireland. And when I toured with Imelda May, we did an extensive tour there, played everywhere, including Dublin and Cork. And um, Ireland is actually where I had my first job. I worked for the composer of Riverdance at the Abbey Theater. And it was a really formative time in my life, my late teens. And of course, I was studying acting as well, and I was obsessed with Yeats, and it was the Yeats Festival. So it was a full immersion and definitely, opened my view to so much great artistry from Ireland. And I'm still a wannabe Irish.
Lovely. And I know we touched briefly on your cover version or interpretation or reimagination
Mhm.
of Only You, which was
Yes.
a 1980s new wave song by Yazoo. Um, Now, there have been several versions of this songs over the years, but if my listener wanted to ask you, how does your
Mhm.
version stand out from the rest?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't know there were several versions, but it's been, DJs like you who have educated me on that. I'm glad I didn't hear them before I did mine. I think, my affection for the song hopefully shines through whenever I do a cover. It's just because I wish I'd written this song. So I like to kind of think of it as my own, of course, when I'm performing it and playing it. And, so I just did it with my band, violin, cello, some percussion, Wurlitzer, and it's quirky and it's intimate and it's just from my heart how I would be singing it if I'd written it. And I used to play it at the coffee house in college, so it's been simmering in my mind for many
Mm.
years, and it just felt like the right time, especially because this album is about overcoming obstacles and transcendence and yearning to a degree. So, the timing felt right. And I think it really fit on the album.
Great. And will there be a music video to accompany only you, or was
Yes.
yeah, but oh, that's good.
Yeah. Folks can find that now actually on my YouTube channel. So it is there for your enjoyment. I shot it in my home studio, which also doubles as my art space. And so all my paintings are all over the place, and I'm dancing around my living room and in my closet and doing vocals, with all my clothes on shelves and things. And it's very down to earth, and it was a lot of fun to shoot here in the Hudson Valley in New York.
Lovely. The the Albatross as well. Did you manage to do a video for that as well?
Actually, I shot a performance video for that in the same space, and it was quite serious and reflective. And it's a much more kind of grounded, deep lyric. And then I thought, well, gosh, that's not enough. I want to do an official, more conceptual video. So I'm actually working on it right now, and it's going to come out sometime later in September.
Mm.
But we shot it already and we're editing, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. It sort of juxtaposes that urban kind of street art aesthetic in the East Village, where a lot of the social justice protests were happening during lockdown, and I wanted to kind of hearken to that, as well as some beautiful natural environments and in the park in New York City, and just inclusivity is really the theme of that song, and I hope that shines through.
That's good to hear. And also, you are a musical artiste in your own right. I don't know if many people use artiste anymore,
I like the word. I'm fond of that word. I'll take it.
but you're also an artist as well, and
Yes.
you can gather that from your lovely artwork on your albums.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
what aspect do you enjoy about making artwork?
Oh gosh, I love everything about it. I mean, while music is undoubtedly my first love, and I will always write songs and perform, that's my main mission in life. Art is just such a meditative, solitary process, and it's really a release. It's that place I go to when language can't express what I'm feeling. And I also find that it's very exploratory. There's a spontaneity to it that I love. I never know in advance how a painting is going to turn out. I might have some concepts, but it's just a very different part of my brain than composing music, where I get so meticulous. With art, I think it's a bit freer. Mhm.
That's good. You released your new album as well, um,
Yes,
Another
another
Side, and then
side.
you released Another Side acoustic version.
Hmm.
Are you proud of all the songs? One of the questions was, do you have a favorite standout track? But sometimes
Oh,
that question can be unfair because I know a lot of
we love all
musicians.
our children.
Yeah,
Yes.
you love them all.
Well, when I put out the other side was the original album, and that came out last year. So yes, these are the same songs on another side, reimagined. I would say my favorite songs right now to perform, I'll just pick a couple. Deepest Dark is one that I use to start my set usually. It just feels like that, perfect kind of introduction to what I do. I play piano, and it's mid tempo. It's not too slow. It's not too fast. It can kind of ease folks into my show and my sensibility. And then later on, when I get to jump up and go to the guitar, I'm really enjoying playing the song "The Place of Fun," which was a previous single, and it's very lyrically dense. So you get that poetic, kind of compressed, lyrical intensity from me. and just a very different side of what I do. So those are probably my two favorites right now.
Cool. And I'm sure I've asked you previously where you get your creativity and ideas from when like composing or putting art together, like the
Mhm.
environment, the habitats, your surroundings. As you say, you live in the Hudson Valley, which is like north of New York. It's very
That's
green
right.
and a lot of wildlife there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I'm still a city girl at heart. I go back to the East Village. My office there for it is still there for Empress Records. And of course, London, is like my second home.
Mm,
But I get inspiration from people, people, their inner lives, their conversations, and I'm a consummate eavesdropper. I managed to do it without hurting anybody. I'm just sitting there in the cafe, and I might
mm.
overhear someone talking to a friend, or you know, there's just so much that's fascinating to me about the human experience, and whether it's my own personal journey, or I'm just, watching a movie, or, witnessing a piece of theater. I find that there are always these epiphanies that I can expand upon in a song. And, it's just an endless journey for me. I don't
Mm.
think I'll ever stop writing songs. I hope not.
So fascinating thought. Everyone is on their own kind of journey in life simultaneously.
Yeah, yep, and we're all like our own little planets spinning, but
Yeah.
the overlap is what's assuring, and that feeling, of not being alone and of being in community with people not only who live right near you, but you know, all over the world is something that I really strive to keep at the forefront of my mind and in my work, because ultimately, we're, like they say, we're all walking each other home, and every person is a universe. So um I hope that at my shows people leave feeling a sense of having been seen and heard, even though they're the ones listening.
And you mentioned that you have your own, like say, office or label. What do
Yeah,
you enjoy about running that? Is that another proud baby of yours?
it is. I've been a long time. Enabled me to put out release after release, and to also embrace and promote other artists that I'm really passionate about, including James Mastro, who has a new album, and Grace Pettis, who's just phenomenal Americana artist. And, it's kind of fashioned after the Warhol factory in a way, because while it's mainly music, I embrace artists who have a lot on. They do a lot of different things. Like Grace is also an activist, and um, James also runs a music venue, and you know, just very interesting, multifaceted polymaths, I guess, would be the
Mm.
commonality between everyone we release on Empress. So it's exciting. It is never dull. I work with a great team, and they've been with me a long time, and I'm just so grateful for how hardworking they are, but also how talented and insightful. So we learn from each other, and it does feel like a family at this point, even though we work together.
Impressive. And one of the reasons we invited you back on the show is because you mentioned that you're embarking on a UK tour,
Yes,
which starts on the 3rd of September in Southend-on-Sea,
that's
where you're
right.
supporting Will Young. How did that chance encounter happen? Were you aware of him, like, from Pop Idol, which was like your predecessor to American Idol?
Right. I was aware of him, but I only knew a handful of songs that were like his biggest hits, which did make it over here. But the bulk of his story and his artistry was not as familiar to me. And most people I mention him to over here, they're like, "Oh, I think I know one of his songs." Whereas I know in the UK he's massive, and he has so many diehard fans who don't just like him; they adore him, and they'll rhapsodize about his voice and his sensibility, and what a great human being he is. And so, when I got the call to be his support via our agents chatting, as it happens, I was thrilled, because I thought this is a great match. Melodically, I think we have a similar sensibility, even though he might have more pop production in some of his releases. But I started out in that realm. I mean, I really started in pop and then I kind of eased into folk and Americana. So I love it all. And this will be a very stripped down acoustic tour for him, which I think will make a lot of sense. And I'm going to go out there and just hopefully, warm up the crowd and make some friends and fans. So I'm really excited about it.
Very good. And I know that he released a song called Light My Fire as well. Of course, was by the
Yeah.
Doors as well. Were you a Doors fan?
Huge Doors fan, like massive Doors fan. I had Jim, I had his poster on my wall. I like, I had a crush on him. I did a thesis on their music in college, on his poetry. Yeah, no, I was, and it's still, I think, an aesthetic influence. Just the organ playing, and Ray Manzarek actually was an acquaintance of mine in college because I met him at an event where he was playing, and um, it was just interesting for me to see that spoken word music thing done in that particular way on the West Coast in California, and I'm sure that was an influence on me as well. So yes, 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 yes.
Cool. You're also supporting Hue and Cry. You're back in November as well, so
Yeah,
that's all set.
you can't keep
Um,
me away. And
yeah,
they're different venues, and they're going to be with a big full like big band. So yeah, I better get my projection.
yeah, and have to ask where's the best portal where people can follow you on
Hmm.
social media to find out where you're performing in a town or city near them.
Sure. Well, I, of course, have my website, rachelsage.com, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all the things. So I'm very accessible, and folks can DM me too. I really try to have a direct connection with my listeners. So within reason.
Nice. And I know the Will Young concert would be a great show because some venues have sold out already.
I think
Um,
actually the entire
yeah,
tour sold out. So that's very exciting.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and final question, do you have any amusing stories or interesting facts about yourself or any pearls of wisdom you may like to give to your followers or listeners?
Mm. Pearls of wisdom or interesting facts. I don't know that I'm in a position to grant wisdom, but some things that work for me at this point in my life. I really do believe strongly in boundaries, and that no is a full sentence. And if something doesn't feel right to you, it probably isn't. So, instinct and going with your gut, that is serving me really well at this point in my life and
Mm,
career. I wish that I had embraced that concept earlier, but I was a people pleaser, like many are. So, it took me a while. And I think there's a way to do it that still is kind and gracious,
mm,
and people can handle it.
yeah,
So that would probably be the
yeah.
biggie. And then, maybe just leave you on a more positive note. Um, I think all of us basically want the same things, and that's to be heard and to be seen and to feel safe. So if there's anything you can do in your day today to just give that space and encouragement to someone else,
Mm,
it'll make you feel good.
yeah.
So
It's
just
nice to be appreciated, but
yeah,
also on the other hand, appreciate others as well.
amen.
Right, on that note, thanks again for another spectacular interview, Rachel Sage on my show, and we'll get your new single Only You on my show now.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with your rest of your tours with Will
Yeah.
Young and Hugh and Fry coming to a town or city in the UK near you.
Thank you.